Alright guys, so today we're going to check out the TrueFree F1 air conduction headset. Now this is from a company that is a sub-company of SoundPeats. You can just tell from the packaging alone that it looks like a SoundPeats product. And if you're not familiar with an air conduction headset, it's different than bone conducting, which is what the company Shocks or Aftershocks is really known for. So it's not using a technology that is basing the sound off vibrations to the side of your face. It's really relying more on the direction of audio being channeled into your ears. And these actually have dual speakers on both sides, so it's not even relying on one speaker. It has two speakers and it's pushing sound out in a way where it sounds a lot more open. But we'll talk about that once we get to the sound. Now these do come in at $39, although right now on Amazon there's a $10 off thing that you can check off. So you actually can get these for 29 bucks. And just basing that compared to a lot of other products similar to this that I've tested out, it's really a bargain at this price. And I guess with this being a SoundPeats company, that's kind of to be expected. But we're going to talk about what all you get inside the box. We're going to talk about some of the features. We'll talk about the sound and see if it's worth that $29 or $39 price tag. Now let's go ahead and start with what you get in the box. This part's really simple. Because this isn't a pair of earbuds that use ear tips, there's nothing like that. You basically get a drawstring pouch to keep these in, and then you get a USB-C cable to charge these. And the battery life on these, you're gonna get about 11 hours. So the huge plus there is that's gonna get most people through a day before needing to charge these. And they're also using 16.2 millimeter drivers. Now, they do have to use a large driver in a product like this instead of like a pair of earbuds, because when you don't have everything else blocked out, your speakers are having to compete with your surroundings. So having large drivers allows these to get loud enough and still be able to bring sound quality that you don't lose because it's not going to be enough to compete with your surroundings. But as far as the technology, it does have Bluetooth 5.3, and it also has AAC and SBC playback. And again, because this is a different type of product, you really don't need high-end Bluetooth codecs here because you're not going to be able to tell if the audio is as compressed as you would on a pair of earbuds. And having Bluetooth 5.3 made this a very stable and very quick pair to use for different types of media. So if I was watching movies or videos, I didn't have any kind of lag. I did notice that there is a slight lag when it came to gaming, but it was actually pretty minimal. So if you are looking to use this for all types of media, this is an excellent product for that. But what this pair really does is allow you to listen to things in a lot more situations where you can't use earbuds or headphones. I don't really think these are meant to replace those type of products, but if you're in an office environment and you need to hear people talking or you need to hear the phone ring and things like that, this pair basically makes it seem like you're listening to music from speakers in the same surroundings that you're in, so you can still hear those people. Same thing if you're going to use these out while riding a bike or running. You can still hear traffic, you can still hear car horns so you don't get ran over. So it's really convenient to have a pair like this. But also, speaking of using these outdoors, they only come in with an IPX4 rating. So it's gonna be fine if it starts to rain if you're outdoors, and it's gonna be fine if you're using these at the gym and you start to sweat, but you can't obviously drop these into water. And I would think with a product that's kind of geared towards using these more outdoors, that it would have a little bit better protection. Now moving over to looking at the headset itself, it is made of a mixture of plastic and silicone. It is really lightweight. It is very flexible, although I do wish that there was a little bit more flex on the ear hook part. That way if you need to move it a little bit more to have the direction of the audio facing a certain way, it would just be easier to do than having the neckband move up and down around the back of your head. Again, it works perfectly fine. I just like having a little bit more flexibility. Now, as far as the charging port and the buttons, all of those are located on the right-hand side. The charging port is covered by one of those little flaps that always aggravates me because I can't just easily get those open. There are only 3 buttons located on here, so they're trying to keep it really simple. And I am happy to say that those 3 buttons give you control over everything. So you have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and your volume control and your smart assistant, all just by using those 3 buttons. Now, one thing I do want to point out about these that I think was a very smart move, you notice that these little silicone rubber padding parts that's on the inside, they actually have magnets inside. So if you're not using them, they just magnetically attach to one another, and it keeps these very simple. And I don't think I've seen it on another pair like this. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, I think the mics on here do a pretty decent job of picking up my voice. These also use environmental noise canceling, so it's trying to block out a lot of your stuff that's going on around you so people on the other line can't hear that. And again, I think they did a pretty decent job. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
So here is the mic test using the TrueFree F1. I do notice that it is a little bit sensitive, and they probably had to bump that up because they're located so far back here. But I still feel like it picks up my voice nicely. It does have a little bit of warmth and digital noise to it. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And this, above all, is the one area that impressed me the most. Now, I've tested a lot of air conducting headsets and bone conducting headsets, and usually bone conducting is what gives you the bass, and air conducting doesn't. It just, again, is pointing audio into your ear canal, and it is very hard to hear bass that way, and without having the vibration of bass, it's hard to feel bass. And somehow with this pair, they do give you a slight vibration. So with drums, I was able to feel that. Same thing with pop or hip hop. Anything that has that low end, it does have a punch with these. But because it feels separated from the mids and the treble, you still get a very clean sound. Vocalists, I felt like stood out really well in these. A lot of instruments just were pulled out. And so it just had a lot more separation in the instruments and the vocalists than I was expecting. And because of its design, it has a lot of space around you. So it really does sound like you're listening to speakers kind of placed around you. And being able to tell where sounds are coming from, this is excellent at that as well. So my overall opinion is this is a hell of a product at its price point. Even the retail price of $39, I highly recommend them. The $29 I think makes it a no-brainer. And I think that's, again, even if you have your favorite pair of headphones or earbuds, a type of product like this isn't trying to replace those. It's just trying to make it where you can listen to music in a lot more situations where you can't use those products. And this product nails it. I was easily able to hear my surroundings. Even listening to these at about 50% volume, people around you will not even know that you're listening to anything. And it's just kind of weird. You would think that people are hearing the same thing that you're hearing because you can hear them, but they can't. So yeah, I've enjoyed using these. I was very impressed with the sound quality, and again, I highly recommend them. But guys, that wraps up my video on the TrueFree F1s. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.